everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at Deluxe CliffJumper from Transformers Earthrise, War for Cybertron Trilogy. Really beautiful artwork here on the side. I really like this a lot. I'm kind of digging the greenish blue overall box color scheme for Earthrise. So much brighter and just kind of more vibrant and fun than Siege's was. Really like the picture on the side too. I think that's cool. But yeah, little CliffJumper inside. I mean, he's definitely pushing it for a deluxe, but I think this wave had to combat some of the other figures being a little bit larger. We saw this before with Siege, where Ironhide was kind of a larger deluxe, and so some other figures in that wave were a little bit more slim or scaled down, just to kind of make the fact that, you know, the price point fits for everyone in the wave by some being a little bit larger, some being a little bit smaller. And CliffJumper is definitely the little bit smaller in this equation, but I think it makes sense for the character as well. He's definitely tiny. Plus, he comes with a giant gun. You know, he's not overcompensating for anything. Anyway, on the back here, robot mode, vehicle mode. I don't really know what car he was. I know, you know, he was kind of a remold slash repaint of Bumblebee back in the day when Takara had the whole mini car lineup. I think that was part of... Was that Microman or Diaclone? I'm not really sure. But in any case, he's always been kind of related to Bumblebee, so he's not a VW bug. He's just kind of a small red car. I'm not a car guy. I apologize. I don't really know what kind of car he is. But he looks good. I'm very excited. I also love the little skis for the wheel from that like one episode back in G1. I think it was Atlantis Arise. I'm going to pull that title out of nowhere. I think that's what it was called. There was like the one episode where they all like, you know, were in the ocean on skis. Like the skis are somehow going to make the cars not sink. I don't know. It was fun. Anyway, that's the package. Let's get him out of there and we're going to take a closer look. So here is CliffJumper out of the packaging. I think he looks great. He does have kind of a large backpack, but you can actually remove that if you would like. And you kind of have to for the transformation. It just pegs in. It's just a peg right there. Pegs into that large peg hole in the back. So if you want to take that off, you can actually hold it as a shield if you prefer. Right in there. I kind of wish he had a sword to go with the shield, but he doesn't. But just one of the options you have. I'm just going to kind of take this and put it off to the side for the moment. So then he's got a little bit less back kibble. Still has these wheels back here, but overall not too bad. I do kind of wish he had a large Autobot symbol on the chest, but he has one kind of prominently placed in vehicle mode. We'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, he looks pretty good. Head sculpt looks good, I think. Nice silver face paint. It's got a little bit of blue there for the eyes. The horns look good. Definitely very CliffJumper-y, so I like him. He does come with a rather large gun. And I have to believe that this is from... that More Than Meets the Eye episode very early on. I think when they like first wake up from the Ark on Earth, Prime sends CliffJumper and Hound, I believe, to go scout out the Decepticons, and there's a scene where CliffJumper has this massive gun set up and he says he's got Megatron in his viewfinder, and you know, he misses, and then of course they get attacked by Laserbeak. But this is the giant gun, I believe, from that scene, and I say that because it even has the little feet to steady it, which he definitely had in that scene. So this can come apart, multiple pieces. This piece comes off. This comes off. I'm going to take the two little feet off. They'll come into play later on. I don't really know what this thing does on its own, to be honest. It comes into play in vehicle mode, but as of right now, not too much. If you want to use these as tiny separate guns, you certainly could. You could have him just kind of hold that as a gun. He could hold this one as a gun. Give him twin tiny blasters. You know, like Neo or John Wick style, something like that. If you want, you could also peg them into the side of his forearms. They're all the same as far as size of the ports and fists and everything like that. So any Battle Masters, you know, Target Masters, anything like that will work. But overall, he's a pretty solid little dude, and I do mean little. Just real quick, here is a Legends class figure. And you can see definitely this is scaled smaller. It's kind of funny. I never really realized just how tiny Gear's face looks with the rest of his body when you stand these guys next to each other. But it's about the same height. It's pretty close. But this guy definitely has all the bells and whistles of a deluxe. He's just smaller. Like articulation, you have head is on a ball joint. Very limited up and down, but certainly has side to side. You have hinge and swivel in the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel. You have 90 degrees. Actually, you have 180 degrees in the elbow. Then you have wrist swivel. You do have movement in the waist. It's not right here, though. It's actually up here. But it does still achieve the same swivel. Then you have out to the side, front to back at the hip. You do have a thigh swivel there. You got 90 degrees. I was going to say it almost looked like a little over 90 degrees, but 90 degrees in the knee there. And then, of course, you have the telltale ankle tilt. So he's definitely got all the bells and whistles of a deluxe just packed into the size of a Legends class. But he does have some great accessories to make up for it, so I really like all the accessories that he has. I also kind of like how this closes up pretty neatly. And I also like, if you notice, you'll notice it more in the car mode, but you can really see down here the really nice matte red paint finish. I really like the matte finish. I think that works really well. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into this guy's transformation. So like I said, if you haven't taken off the backpack or any of the accessories, make sure you have all that removed before we get into this here. So not too difficult. You basically start by opening up the chest, and that just kind of folds down, and then you swing out this panel and then close this back up. And it's kind of just hilarious to me because it just puts that panel right in front of his face. It's like, no, CliffJumper's on a timeout. You think about what you did. But you can see that Autobot symbol I was talking about very prominently displayed in the vehicle mode, so that's pretty cool. You're going to take the arms and bend them at the elbow and then swivel them around, simply like so. You're going to swivel these down to about there. Then you're going to drop this section all the way down, like so. You can actually make sure if you have these kind of tilted that you just straighten them out a little bit. Oh, I forgot. I have to rotate this 180 degrees first. So actually, let's back up. Spin that 180 degrees. Now you can rotate this down. And you'll be able to tell because it'll rotate further out of the way once it's like pretty much all the way down like that. You can kind of make like a weird what has science wrought have transformed. Anyway, these will swing around, and the cool thing about this, you can see that there are tiny little tab slots right there, and there are tiny little tabs. Which way? Do I have this the wrong way? I very possibly might. Okay, I do have this wrong. It's supposed to go like this. I bent the elbows the wrong way. What are you going to do? So there are the tiny tabs right there, and they're going to peg into here when you close this around. So this will close around, that will tab in, and that will tab in. And then you just kind of have the arms sitting here out the back like that. So make sure they're all the way in. Then, let me zoom out a smidge here. You're going to fold this out. Make sure they're not next to each other. Fold this out like so. Then you're going to rotate this down, and as you do so, you will expose the wheel that you can then rotate up like so. Rotate this down, flip that wheel out. Then you're going to bring this up. This will kind of click together and then tab into this. So you just kind of line this all up. Hopefully this will not come unpegged on you. And then you just kind of shore this all up. What is it doing to me here? And then bring this in. There we go. Then you're going to bring that shield back in, fold this all the way in, and then these two long cylinders here are going to peg into the open wrists back here. I'm not sure why this is giving me trouble. Maybe do I have something mistransformed in here? I don't think I do. But in any case, this is going to drop in here. And then this just kind of rests on top and covers this all up. I'll have to take a look. I must have something misaligned. But that's pretty much the gist of it. It does hold together better than this, I promise. I must have something, I think in the arm panels I don't have something pegged in, but that is the gist of the car mode. Alright, so I have it a little bit back together now. Basically, I think I had one of the panels on the side here wasn't clipped in together correctly. And this piece on the top wasn't pegging in, so now should be all set to go, and you have a cool little vehicle mode. Very nice. Like I said, love that Autobot symbol there on the hood. The windows look very nice. The back window is just painted black, which I think makes sense because otherwise you'd see that it's just kind of like a mess of parts back here. So I think it was the right decision, especially with the like shield aspect of it. I think it makes sense to just paint that one color. But rolls very nicely, and it's just a cool little red car. Well, I'm assuming they're going to remold this into a Bumblebee, and I'll be very interested to see if they kind of round this off or try to make this into a VW Bug or how that's going to work. They might just make Bumblebee a little car like this. I'm not 100% sure. But it's kind of a cool little car. Real quick, I just wanted to show off... let me zoom out here. I'm going to transform gears real quick and hope I actually remember how this works, because I'll be honest with you, I don't really. This flips out, I believe. And I think this goes in like this. Thereabouts. That's alright, this is not a review of Gears. So anyway, just to give you an idea. Size-wise, he's a little longer than Gears, for sure. But he's kind of like right in that size area, but you can tell that he's just better, for lack of a better term, fancier. I don't know what you want to use, but I definitely feel like you can tell he's a higher quality figure than the Legend class figure, if that makes sense. So, oh, I have so many little plastic shavings. Oh, I was doing model kits. That's what it's from. Anyway, so just want to do a quick size comparison there, but I like the little red car. I think it's pretty cool, and like I said, I love that matte finish. Rolls very nicely, but we do have one more thing we need to see. So he's got all these bits. This piece here you can kind of flip out like this, and then come underneath and you can see a peg hole right there, and you can see two peg holes back here. So these two pegs and that peg, it just goes on just like that. So you just go ahead and peg that in like so. Then you're going to take these, and you can see that they have little tab slots on the actual part that he would hold in his hand. And they're going to go on these two tabs right there and there. So peg that on there, peg that on there, and then we're going to go ahead and peg the skis onto this front section underneath the wheel, like so. And there you go. He is now ready for water travel. And I think it's kind of cool because between the skis and this piece underneath, it actually picks the wheels up off the ground. So the wheels do not spin in this configuration. He literally skis. He could bobsled, you know, he could apparently travel across the surface of the water, normal skiing, any kind of stuff. He's ready for fun. I think it's fun. It's a goofy little thing that happened like one time in an episode. Between that and the large gun from that first couple episodes, I think it's neat to just kind of throw these things in there and, you know, make little in jokes and little references that older fans will appreciate. And, you know, kids nowadays will just go, hey, it's a big gun. That's cool. He's got little weird jet skis. Why not? But yeah, very cool. So I'll be the first to admit, CliffJumper is tiny. He's barely a deluxe. I mean, he's only a hair taller than a Legends class figure, but I don't care. I love him anyway. It's a really fun little mold. I really like what they did. Like I said, yes, he's small, but he does come with excellent articulation, excellent paint applications, a really giant gun, lots of great accessories. I love the matte finish for the car. I think it's a great car mode. I think it's a great robot mode. Head sculpt's great. I really don't have much to complain about this guy. I mean, the only thing I would complain about is the Autobot symbol on the chest. I would really like him to have just to break up. That's a lot of red. I'd love an Autobot symbol right there. But I understand that in car mode, like to have it the right side up in robot mode would make it upside down in car mode. So that's why they had that separate panel. But I was wondering if maybe they could do something like have a panel here that when you flip this open, it spins around and then you flip the panel out. So there's a way to have it in robot mode but hide it in car mode, maybe something like that. I know it's just a deluxe, but something like that might have been neat. But otherwise, I really like him. I mean, he's definitely tiny, but like I said, I think it's really because a lot of the figures otherwise in this wave for deluxes are just a little big, and they kind of had to compensate. But it definitely makes sense for the character as well. I mean, CliffJumper's definitely always been the tiny, tough guy. It's part of the character. So it wouldn't make sense to just all of a sudden make him a normal deluxe size figure. And they don't really have a Legends class size. It's kind of been taken over by the Micromasters. So I think it makes sense. But yeah, I'm happy to get him. I think he looks good. The last CliffJumper I can really remember is like the way back in the day Classics one they did where they repainted Bumblebee. And I didn't really care for that one that much. That had a lot of weird battle damage, similar to things that we've seen in Siege. So I'm kind of glad that they're back to basics here, and it's just a normal, nice little CliffJumper. I'm sure he will eventually be redone as Bumblebee, and I'll be interested to see what they decide to do. But, hey, for once, CliffJumper got there first. Take that, Bumblebee. But yeah, like I said, I think he's great. The giant gun with the little feet, a reference, got to be a reference to that More Than Meets the Eye three-parter to kick off the series. And the goofy little skis in the vehicle mode. So dumb, but I love it. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.